goodDYEyoung, and I also helped develop and make most of the colors that you guys are hopefully using, and if not, hopefully you will be after this. Here we go. So today we're talking about goodDYEyoung's Lightning Kit. Why are we talking about it? Because a lot of the times lightening your hair at home can be super scary, and we want to take a little bit of that notion out of it and hopefully make it a little bit easier, a little less scarier, and make you go from sticking your little tippy toe into the water to just jumping head first in. So a few things about our Lightning Kit, why I love it, why I use it in the salon and day to day is 1, vegan and cruelty free, love, check. 2, we have coconut oil and we also have soy protein in here, so both are going to be beneficial. Coconut oil is going to give you moisture that you're going to need after lightening your hair. The soy protein is also going to help give you more strength in your hair from what we are doing. We kind of want to counteract everything that we're doing and making sure that for every little bad thing we may do, we give you 2 or 3 goods. So that's the first. Our boxes are perfect. Why? Because they're already the exact amount and ratio for you. All you have to do, open your packet, add your developer, mix really good. It's a 1-to-2 ratio, but we already have that covered for you. So there's no worry. There's no measuring, you just get right to it. Our developer is 25 volume. The reason that I chose to go with 25 volume is it's a nice middle of the road. Sometimes 30 can be too much. 40 is never okay in my opinion when lightening hair. You really can blow out the cuticle really fast. If you are a textured curly person, lower volumes tend to work better because of the porosity that is already coming from your hair from it being naturally textured, naturally curled. So what we don't want to do is just blow out our cuticle right off the bat. And so 25 volume is a good middle of the road. We recommend at least 30 minutes, usually longer, but what you can do is check every 5 to 10 minutes after 30 until you reach the desired level of lift. The level of lift that we say here at goodDYEyoung would be the best for you is a level 10, which is a light golden blonde. So like the slightest tint of yellow to the blonde. And that just really sets the foundation for the intensity of the pigments in all of our shades. Even the ones that last 2 weeks, being that light gives you enough color deposit, enough intensity, but it'll also allow for no undertone to be creeping through. And if you're not lifted light enough, that can definitely happen. You can, with purples for example, if you know a color wheel, anything about color theory, yellow and purple cancel out each other. So if you're too yellow, too brassy, too golden, it's gonna dull down and it's gonna mute out your purple. Because if you mix yellow and purple together, it's gonna go very neutral very fast. And so if you really want that stone pony to pop, you need as little yellow tone to it as possible. Remember, it's already pre-measured. All you have to do is open, combined, mix, and get to working. What you want to make sure to do though is you don't want to mix this up before you know what you're doing. Because as soon as you start mixing this up and you really put the powder and the developer together, it's activated, it's going to instantly start working, and time is money. So every minute that it's sitting there mixed up, you're lessening the strength of your enlightener. So please be mindful. Don't mix this up until you're ready to apply it. You know what your target is. Let me get these jumbo sleeves out of the way here. Okay, so I'm gonna mix this up, and then what we're gonna talk about today is just some easy application at home ways to use your lightning kit. Maybe you don't want to do an all over process. Maybe you just want pieces, streaks, strands, tips. It's just a way for you to kind of be the artist and creatively test the waters on what you want to do. So let's talk about how many lightning kits it may or may not take to do an all-over bleach out process. I would say based on this baby doll, I would say probably 2 boxes maybe 3. It's really important to keep a lot of product, a lot of enlightener on the hair because you don't want it to get dried out. So let's start off. I have me a little already cutely divided section here. As you can see, I don't know if we can how close we can get up in there, but I did a zigzag parting here. The reason I zigzagged this is I'm gonna dye out this chunk in the front here, and I created that zigzag in the hair here. I use a rat tail comb. You can even use a clip if you needed to. The reason I did this is because after this is all lightened and we let down the hair and it falls, it's gonna be a lot softer, more diffused look between the blonde and the brunette hair here. So rather than just being this really boxy, hard, like bleach section of the hair, it's gonna diffuse a little bit softer in between the natural color and then the pre-lightened hair. Now, if you want that really hard look, then by all means do a really clean parting, box it out. The reason I'm just doing this is just to show you something different. I feel like it's really easy to do that hard, heavy part. That's very simple. But a lot of people don't know that, like when you're sectioning and if you do bigger zigs, it's just all a different way of diffusing, and how diffused that you want it will depend on how big your zigzags. So what I'm gonna do first is we're gonna do this as if, one, this is virgin hair, because it is. 2, we're gonna do it as if we were applying it for the first time to virgin hair. So what we wanna make sure is we wanna keep about a 1/2 inch from the scalp. The reason you wanna keep off the scalp, you don't wanna immediately go in there and apply bleach to your scalp, is your body temperature will help process and develop faster. So if you put that, you're basically gonna have what is known to professionals as hot root. So your about 1 inch to a 1/2 inch will it'll automatically be lighter because of the natural heat that is coming from your body. So what we want to start with is this midsection, and the reason that's important is because that's going to take the longest to lift. There's no heat. It's hopefully, God willing, it's not damaged hair. It's not overly porous. So you're gonna need that to really like sit the longest. Your ends, they're porous. Between pollution, heat, day-to-day life, they're gonna lift easier from just natural elements that are out there. So I'm gonna take a piece of aluminum foil or foil, and the reason that this is good is it helps conduct heat as well. So you're gonna get a quicker, more even and consistent lift when you're using foil and using it to kind of keep it separated. So again, I'm just going in here, I'm keeping it about a 1/2 inch off the scalp or less, and I'm gonna really work this lightener in there. Now, I like to I wouldn't say it's wasteful. I like to use a lot of enlightener when I'm doing this because you want to keep the moisture in the product. So the more that you have, the less likely it is to get dried out. As soon as your lightener starts drying out, it deactivates it. So you're not gonna get an even consistent lift. So if anything, overusing or getting 2-3 boxes of enlightener is probably best for most people, because you really want to make sure that this stays saturated. There's a lot of product on the hair, because that, like I said, it's going to help keep the consistency and the lift there, and you're going to get a better lift because of it. So I don't want to say ombre, but very similar to that. So what you're going to do is you're going to tease. So I would start at the middle, push up, and then push the rest of the way. So keep in mind, this is when you brush it out, it should be fairly easy. I always use a wet brush, something that tangles out really easy at the bowl. So what you have by doing this is you've really diffused all that hair, you've created these different textures through it, and then this is going to be we're going to kind of have that rooty look, that lived-in look. So when you and the key here is to just kind of lightly feather this up where it's closer to the teased area because that's what's going to make it diffused and really soft. And so here, when we do this, after it processes, you're going to have that really rooty look here, and then it's just going to go down and it's going to be this light diffusion to color on the ends. So a slice is going to be more coverage, more color. So again, you don't want it too thick. You should be able to read through it. And that's important of reading through it, because if you can't read through it, you have too much hair and you're not going to get consistency in application of your product or consistency in your lift for your end result. And the end result is what we're going for here. It's what matters most, because if it's not the right level of lift, which should be a level 10, which is a pale yellow, then really you're not getting the full effects of our color. And the next section I'm going to do here for you, we're going to weave. Weaving is good because what it does is the bigger your weave, the more dimension you're going to get. So I have these, I've taken these bigger pieces, we're going to leave these out, drop those down. So like I said, I have these big weave pieces, and what this is going to give you is it's going to give you a lot more dimension as your end result. So your natural is going to pop through here more, but all of these pieces are going to be lighter. Again, working up. I always like to brush up because, again, I want it soft. I don't want this harsh line. And sometimes if you get too close here, especially with lightener, and if you're not used to it, you can create bleed spots. And so where you have this hard line at the end that's been bleached out, but nothing else is, and it looks terrible. You'll notice it instantly when you rinse it out, and there's really no way to cover it unless you can find something that perfectly matches your natural color to blend it out of what you could be doing. So here, I'm going to do baby lights. Baby lights, it's going to be really diffused, it's going to be really soft. So if you're someone who has a 9-to-5 job that they maybe don't appreciate or understand you expressing yourself through using vivid colors, this would be something that could kind of maybe get you a slide through the door. If not, we have our whole Darker Days line, which is office appropriate shades for you. Baby lights, just imagine taking really fine, quick, short weaves. So that's a baby light. This is going to be, like I said, very soft, subtle. This is really pretty for someone who wants color but wants a natural, air quotes natural, kind of approach to it. Again, we're talking about using bright colors here. X-Girl, Rock Lobster, all in this together. So these are going to really pop more. But if you're just using the Lightening Kit and you only wanted to have those blonde pieces, this is going to be a really soft kind of sun-kissed look for you. So over-processing, overlapping, and the right level of lift. Again, right level of lift to us is a level 10. That's pale yellow. So if you can't achieve that, I would not lift more than twice. So if you did one application, you processed, maybe you processed for 45 minutes, maybe you processed for only 30, just depends on you, your hair, your genetic makeup. If you rinse it out after that first application, it's not quite as light as you would like it. I would say, again, try to push pause, maybe circle back around in a day or two. I prefer a week because this way you can kind of maybe do some conditioning treatments, put moisture back into the hair before you lift again, then circle back around and lighten again. But what you also want to make sure is, say in 4 weeks, you have this really nice, gorgeous, pale blonde here, and your roots start to come in. Well, what you want to make sure you aren't doing is dragging that lightener through all that pretty already lifted hair, because you're going to get breakage, you're going to burn your hair off, you're going to get damage. Also, if you're someone who has all over color bleached hair, you don't want your root area, if you want to maintain it properly, to get longer than an inch. Again, this is because your body heat helps lift. So if you want that ample right amount of lift, an inch anything further than that, that's where you're gonna start to get banding as it grows out, because the further away that it gets from your body heat, it's just not gonna be as light. So a 1/2 inch to 1 inch of new growth, and then I would be touching, you know, my color up, and only touching up the area that is dark that I need lightened. So kind of in closing, I hope that I didn't talk too fast. One, I hope this felt informational. Maybe you had an aha moment. Maybe you're like, this fool told me absolutely nothing I didn't already know. Well, that's okay. Sometimes we need a refresher. Sometimes we need to hear it as a reminder that we do know what we're doing. I've been doing this since I was 19, and I still have moments where I watch somebody working and I'm like, back to basics. Like I'm like, if I just slowed down and thought a little bit. So all I want you to do if you're watching this is slow down, educate yourself, take the time. If this wasn't helpful and you still feel like you're needing more info to help guide you in the right direction to feel more secure about taking the fear out of this and putting the fun back into it, let us know. Let us know what you want more education-wise. What do you want more informationally? You know, it's easy for me to stand here and talk about this. One, I went to school for over a year to learn how to perfect my craft. I have known that this is what I wanted to do since I was 12 years old, and I stand behind a chair 4 days a week doing this. So of course I do get that it's very simple for me to sit here and talk about how this is, but part of that is I want you to know that we're here to help, we're here to make it easier, and the tools are all there. We make really great products, I feel, that I'm very proud of, especially this Lightning Kit. I'm not just saying that I think it's great because I helped with it. I know it's great because of the ingredients, the formula, the just the wherewithal of, I've used plenty of Lightning products from plenty of other companies, and there are some really great products out there. I'm just really proud of this one. So yeah, in closing, I hope that this was informational. I hope it was less scary. I hope it can be fun, and I hope to see you around. Thanks.